بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على سيدنا ونبينا أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين لا سيما بقية الله في الأراضين اللهم أخرجني من ظلمات الوهم وأكرمني بنور الفهم اللهم افتح علينا أبواب رحمتك وانشر علينا خزائن علومك برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. Alhamdulillah, we have tawfiq to continue our study of Bidayat al-Hikmah. We just reached the middle of chapter 8 of the first section. Al-Marhala al-Ula, Al-Fasl al-Thamin, في معنى نفس الأمر. We said Muslim philosophers believe that truth is a matter of correspondence because there are different theories about truth, but the main one is correspondence, which says to be true means that the proposition should correspond to the reality. But what is the reality? So we said sometimes we have a proposition which says something about a person, about an object, and the quality is also something which is visible, something which is perceivable. So it's easy. When you say Zaydun qa'imun, Zayd is standing. You can look at outside. If there is Zayd and Zayd has the condition of standing, say this is true. But then sometimes it's not as easy as this. Okay? For example, when you say al-insanu naw'un or al-haywanu jinsun, or you say, for example, al-insanu kulliyun, you talk about concepts and predicates for those concepts which are either only in zihn, in mind, or even if they are outside, they don't have independent existence. Do you see outside anything like being jins or fast or no? You don't see anything that you can point at it. Okay? Or to be kulli is in mind. Therefore, they have come up with this concept of nafsul amr. Nafsul Amr as a general title for all types of realities that if our proposition, our statement corresponds to that, it's true. Nafsul Amr can be for al-qadaya al-kharijiyya, when you have external subject, external predicate, or for something that has mental subject, an external predicate, or mental subject and mental predicate, in all of these cases. So we talked about this and we reached توضيح ذلك. So توضيح ذلك أن من القضايا ما موضوعها خارجي بحكم خارجي. Among the propositions, there are some whose subject is khariji, means external, and the hukm, the predicate, is also khariji. Of course, hukm is mahmul, predicate means mahmul, but here we mean by hukm putting a predicate for a subject. You understand the difference between haml and mahmul. Mahmul is the predicate, and to ascribe that predicate to mawzu is haml. كقولنا الواجب تعالى موجود. Necessary being exists. واجب الوجود is an external reality. It's not in our mind. Okay? It's a real external reality. And when we say mawjudun, where does existence of God exists. Where is his existence? In mind or outside? It's outside. Or you say, kharaja man fil balad. Whoever was in the town left. Everyone in the town left. So again, this is khariji, because you are talking about an external property, external quality for an external object. Man fil balad, all who are in the town are external, and they left, this is also external. Or we say, al-insanu dhahikun bil-quwwah. Human beings potentially smile. Yeah? Human beings have the potential of smiling. Salam. Salam. So, some propositions are like this. وَالصِّدْقُ الْحُكْمِ فِيهَا بِمُطَابَقَتِهِ لِلْوُجُودِ الْعَيْنِ. In such propositions, the truth of our judgment, the truth of ruling is based on the mutabaqa. Mutabaqa means correspondence. Correspondence of hukm with the external being, external reality. So this is the most obvious one, like Zaydun Qa'imun. Or this is, for example, a book. This is called. These are all external. وَمِنْهَا, but we have another type. مَا مَوْضُوعُهَا ذِهْنِيٌّ بِحُكْمٍ ذِهْنِي. The subject is mental, and what we want to prove for it is also mental. Or the subject is khariji, external, but the hukm is dhihni, is mental. For example, al-kulliyu imma dhatiyun aw aradi. Al-kulli means al-mafhum al-kulli. Any general concept is divided into essential and accidental. You know, in Mantiq, when we discuss kulliyat khams, we said al-kulliyatul khams first are divided into dhati and arazi. Then dhati is gens, fast, no. Arazi is araz am and khasse. So there are 5. But before we go to the 5, we divide to 2, dhati and arazi. So al-kulliyu, general concepts, are either dhati, essential, which is gens, fast, no, or arazi, accidental, which is araz am and araz khasse. Okay, please let me know. This kulli, where does it exist? In the mind. Because in kharij we don't have kulli. Concept of kulli is in the zahn. Zati or arazi? Again, this is about mind. Because for general concepts. Or you say al-insanu naw'un. Although insan can exist outside, but when you talk about insan being no, again your mind is the place for this judgment. Because insan khariji is not no. No is one of the general concepts, is one of the kulliyat zati. Okay? وَصِدْقُ الْحُكْمِ فِيهَا. In this second type, which itself has 2 types. So one was khariji, hukm khariji. The second is zehni, hukm khariji, or zehni. Okay? The second is zehni, like al-insanu or al-kulliyu nu'un, or khariji but zehni, al-insanu nu'un. So, in the second type, which has 2 types, صدق الحكم فيها بمطابقته للذهن. it should be corresponding to what we understand by our mind. Why? لكون موطن ثبوتها هو الذهن, because the place for reality, for being of this is ذهن. وكلا القسمين صادقان بمطابقتهما لنفس الأمر. Both types, whether it be corresponding to real external realities or to mental realities, we can say they correspond to nafsul amr. So, الثبوت النفس الأمري أعم مطلقا من كل من الثبوت الذهني والخارجي. So philosophers, in order to have a general title which include ثبوت الذهني and ثبوت الخارجي, they have come up with this term, نفس الأمر. Of course, as I told you in the previous discussion, you shouldn't think that when we say it corresponds to zihn, it means that it only exists in our mind, so that if we didn't exist, this becomes false. It's our mind that understands it. Otherwise, even if we didn't exist and human mind was not there, still you could say al-kulliyu zatiyun or araziyun. So don't get it wrong. Some people have said we have another solution. We have another suggestion. Instead of saying that these propositions correspond to nafsul amr, they said you can use still nafsul amr, but in another sense. We can say there is an intellect which is mujarrad, immaterial, not human intellect. You remember one of the 5 types of jawhar was aql. Yeah? Remember that aql, this is different from human aql. Aql, nafs, jism, madde, surat. So, there is aql mujarrad, in which images of all facts, any type of knowledge, any type of truths is in that aql. And if our proposition complies with that, that's true. If not, it's not true. So they have tried to solve the problem by bringing aql into this discussion. They say there is aql mujarrad, in which facts are totally represented. There is image, like a kind of archive or a kind of storage of data. Everything is there. قيل إن نفس الأمر عقل مجرد فيه الصور المعقولات عامة. They say نفس الأمر is an immaterial, abstract intellect in which images of all things that we understand, all intelligibles are there. وَالتَّصْدِيقَاتُ الصَّادِقَةِ, true propositions. في القضايا الذهنية والخارجية, in mental and external propositions, correspond to those images in that aql. تطابق ما عنده means عند ذاك العقل من الصور المعقولة. We say this doesn't solve the problem. Even if we accept there is such a thing, for example, we have Lawh Mahfuz in the Quran, and Lawh Mahfuz is something similar to this. We don't want to say it's aql, but anyway, there is a level of Allah's knowledge in which all the facts are preserved in its final and decisive way. But the thing is, this is not end of the story. You say there is a record, there is an image, there is a surah of everything there. For example, if Zayd is standing, over there also it is registered that Zayd is standing. But where is the truth of Zayd is standing? In that surah, or that surah itself is a representation of the truth? If we say Zayd is standing in the real world, on the ground, on the earth, and then we have surah over there. Records are never the realities. Yeah, records of the realities are not the realities themselves. So if all the philosophical, mathematical, logical truths are there, recorded and registered, this doesn't mean that they are the truths. They are reports, representations of the truths. You have to still find out with what they correspond. So, فيه, we have this objection, أننا ننقل الكلام إلى ما عنده من الصور العلمية. We would shift this question and discussion into those images that are in that aql. You try to say these propositions are true because they correspond to those images. Question, to what those images correspond? So you cannot run away from this issue. Is it clear? فهي تصديقات تحتاج في صدقها إلى ثبوت لمضامينها خارجا عنها تطابقه. Please see how I am reading this. هي تصديقات تحتاج في صدقها إلى ثبوت لمضامينها خارجا عنها تطابقه. Those images that are there in that aql, that intellect, they are also by themselves propositions. And therefore, they should also correspond to realities outside them. Okay, Alhamdulillah, we finished this chapter. We go to the next chapter, Al-Fasl al-Tasi'. The title is Ash-Shay'iyyatu Tusabiqu al-Wujud. Shay'iyya, to be something, is musabiqun lil-wujud.
Sir, on this last point that you mentioned, those images which correspond to something which is outside, which is, so we said those images are not the real thing, they're just reports or records of it. But don't those things even exist before something happens in Kharaj? For example, for example.
No problem. Even if they exist before, but they are images of something which is going to be in future. Because aql has no time. Aql, is free from time. For us, it's future. For them, there is no future. Before I explain ash-shay'iyyah tusabiqu al-wujud, you have to know what is tasawuq. This is a new term for you, a new concept. Tasawuq. You know tasawi, don't you? In Nisab Arba'eh, we said when you compare two concepts, two mafhum, there can be tabayun, there can be tasawi, there can be umum khusus mutlaq, umum khusus min wajh. Yeah? Two circles, sometimes are totally separate, sometimes they are equal. And sometimes they overlap, sometimes one is in the other one. Umum khusus min wajh, umum khusus mutlaq, tasawi, and tabayun. Okay? So what is tasawi? To be equal. Okay. So we have something similar to tasawi, but it's different from tasawi. We call it tasawuq. And I want you to listen carefully. Tasawi is just being equal. But tasawwur is a special type of equality, a special type of tasawi. And that is when both concepts which are equal in their scope apply from the same perspective. The reason for one of them applying is the other. You know, for example, if we say, everyone in this room is a human being, and everyone in this room is a talabe. So talabe and human being, for example, are the same. Or for example, every book in this room is a book on philosophy. So to be a book in this room and to be a philosophy book are the same here, musawi. But to be talabe and to be human beings are different concepts. To be a human being, to be a book of philosophy and to be a book are different concepts. Okay? But they are just musawi, they are just covering the same instances. Or suppose, for example, we have 5 human beings who are all Muslims. To be human being in this room and to be Muslim in this room are equal. Because everyone who is Muslim in this room is a human being and everyone who is a human being is a Muslim. But you understand that to be human and to be Muslim are 2 different things. Now they match. But they don't match from the same perspective. The reason you are a human being and the reason you are a Muslim are 2 different reasons, but now they match. This is called tasawi. But tasawwur is when they are not only musawi, but they apply for the same reason, for the same consideration. So, ash-shay'iyyatu tusawiqul wujud, not just tusawil wujud. To be something and to be existing are equal and musawiq. Means they are not separate considerations. To be real means to exist and to be something. Is it understandable? To be something means to be real, to have existence. These are not 2 separate things. Ash-shay'iyyatu tusawiqul wujud. Shay'iyya. You know shay? Thing. Shay'iyya, to be something, and wujud are equal and they apply with the same consideration. Ash-shay'iyyatu tusawiqul wujud wal-'adamu la shay'iyyata lah. Adam is nothing. You cannot say nothing is something. Adam is nothing. Nothing is nothing. Nothing is not something.
Can you tell me what's the meaning of tusawiqu, please? Tusawiqu?
Tusawiqu means to be equal and to apply from the same point of perspective. Why Adam la shay'iyata lahu? Adam is nothing. Because Adam is butlanun mahd. Is absolutely false. Absolutely nothing. La thubuta lahu. There is no existence, no reality for Adam. فالثبوت والنافية في معنى الوجود والعدم. Thubut and wujud are the same. Nafi and Adam are the same. The reason we emphasize on this is because, inshallah, we will say after Salat, that some people try to distinguish between wujud and thubut. Some theologians. They said something can be thabit but have no wujud. Like hal, like some sifat. We will talk about it. Like alamiyat, khaliqiyat, qadiriyat. They say they are somehow reality but they don't have existence. We will talk about it. We say no. Wujud means to be something. Adam is nothing. There is no third position. Wujud and Adam. You cannot find a station between Wujud and Adam. Either something exists or doesn't exist. Either there is a reality or there is no reality. There is no middle way. So, inshallah, after Salat, we will see what Mu'tazila say and what some other theologians say, and we, inshallah, evaluate them. Alhamdulillah, Rabbil Alameen.